The city that never sleeps is currently bracing itself for a cultural seismic wave that threatens to completely alter the baseline energy of Midtown Manhattan over this heavily anticipated holiday weekend. Underneath the oppressive, shimmering haze of a brutal summer heat wave pushing temperatures toward the triple-digit mark, an undeniable electricity is pulsing through the crowded corridors of New York City, sparking intense speculation among locals, seasoned commuters, and tourists alike who have noticed an unprecedented shift in the daily rhythm around one of the world's most famous entertainment hubs. It begins with an unusual silence from certain inner circles, a quiet coordination that usually precedes events of global significance, yet the sheer scale of the preparation underway makes it impossible to keep entirely under wraps. For days, the architectural monolith that stands as a symbol of legendary performances and historic gatherings has been surrounded by a quiet but intense mobilization of resources, transforming the bustling concrete landscape into a highly fortified citadel of secrecy. Heavy transport vehicles, security barriers, and a noticeably increased presence of uniformed personnel have begun to redefine the visual landscape of the area, signaling to anyone paying close attention that something monumental, something designed to capture the collective imagination of millions across the globe, is about to unfold within the heart of the metropolis. This is not merely another high-profile gathering or a standard arena production, but rather the manifestation of a modern phenomenon where the worlds of elite entertainment and unprecedented public fascination collide in a spectacle so grand that even the most meticulously guarded secrets begin to fracture under the weight of the own immense scale as the world watches from a distance. Parsing through every minor adjustment in logistics and every unusual movement of private transports across state lines, the true magnitude of what is being prepared behind closed doors is only just beginning to crystallize for the public. To truly understand how we arrived at this pivotal moment of cultural obsession, one must look closely at the trail of breadcrumbs left behind by an operation that rivals major international summits in its complexity. And if you want to ensure you do not miss a single unfolding chapter of this extraordinary story as it develops hour by hour, consider taking a brief moment to support our channel by subscribing and turning on notifications so you can stay fully updated on every exclusive detail we uncover. The intrigue building around this Midtown mystery has reached a fever pitch precisely because the figures at the absolute center of the storm represent the pinnacle of contemporary popular culture. Individuals whose every public appearance and private milestone are dissected by an incredibly vast and dedicated global audience. What started as whispers in exclusive coastal enclaves and speculative theories among internet communities has rapidly materialized into a concrete operational reality on the streets of Manhattan, where the traditional boundaries of public spaces are being rewritten to accommodate a level of luxury, security, and theatrical ambition that has rarely been attempted in the modern era of celebrity documentation. The sheer logistical audacity required to commandeer a venue that typically hosts 22,000 screaming sports fans and concert-goers, all while attempting to maintain an ironclad grip on confidential details during one of the busiest travel weekends of the year, speaks volumes about the uncompromising standards and the immense influence wielded by those orchestrating this unfolding narrative. The physical evidence of this colossal undertaking has become impossible to ignore for the thousands of daily commuters navigating the subterranean labyrinth of Penn Station and the scorching sidewalks above it, where a surreal tableau of high-stakes preparation is playing out in plain sight. Massive silver utility vehicles with tinted glass have been spotted maneuvering through the congested avenues, matching the movements of private aviation arrivals at nearby regional airfields where tightly coordinated motorcades wait on the tarmac to whisk heavily shielded passengers away to luxury townhouses hidden within the historic cobblestone streets of Tribeca. Meanwhile, directly outside the main entrances of the historic arena, the visual landscape has been completely altered by the strategic placement of massive commercial semi-trucks, carefully positioned at precise angles to create an impenetrable wall that completely blocks the view of incoming cargo and specialized production equipment from the prying eyes of the public and the lenses of investigative photographers. This elaborate game of visual hide-and-seek extended even to the loading docks, which have been hastily draped in heavy black industrial tarps, creating a somber and mysterious facade that contrasts sharply with the vibrant energy of the city but effectively safeguards the transformation occurring within the arena's interior chambers. Rumors are swirling among the workforce that an entire structural fantasy is being erected piece by piece beneath the arena's iconic circular ceiling, with carpenters and specialized technicians utilizing vintage equipment and materials that evoke past creative eras to construct a breathtaking, life-sized replica of a fairy tale domain, complete with imported mature trees, dense, decorative shrubbery, and delicate wooden branches designed to transport attendees into an entirely different realm of romantic theatricality. The illusion of total control, however, is a difficult thing to maintain in a city populated by millions of sharp-eyed observers and professional operatives. And the first major cracks in the wall of silence have emerged from the very individuals tasked with keeping the peace amidst the mounting chaos. 3 separate law enforcement officers, assigned to the detailed security detail operating within the perimeter of Madison Square Garden, have broken the strict protocols of discretion to provide the first authentic confirmation of the operational timeline that has thrown the entire entertainment industry into a state of absolute frenzy. According to these high-level insider accounts, the department has issued mandatory deployment orders for a massive contingent of personnel, including a significant hierarchy of lieutenants and sergeants, to report for duty starting early Thursday afternoon for an assignment explicitly labeled as a high-profile rehearsal celebration, a preliminary gathering that will utilize the intimate confines of the venue's smaller, high-tech theater space before the main festivities completely consume the grand arena the following day. This initial leak of concrete scheduling data has validated the wildest theories of the public, confirming that the initial phases of this star-studded assembly will demand an attire of refined elegance from a highly select group of immediate family members and ultra-exclusive confidants who have managed to secure a place inside the inner sanctum. The revelation has sent shockwaves through the community, turning what was once considered a speculative rumor into an undeniable reality. As the city prepares to host a multi-day event that will seamlessly blend immense personal significance with the grandest traditions of modern show business, setting the stage for a dramatic progression of events that we will fully unpack as this report continues. The logistical machinery required to support this massive gathering is operating on a scale that rivals a military operation, with the New York Police Department coordinating a complex, multi-phase deployment strategy specifically designed to manage the immense crowds and high-profile attendees expected to descend upon Midtown Manhattan. Internal documents and officer testimonies reveal that the security apparatus will shift into high gear on Friday afternoon, with 2 distinct divisions of heavily equipped officers ordered to report directly to Madison Square Garden at precisely 2:45 in the afternoon. This initial wave of personnel will be followed exactly 30 minutes later by a third major deployment, a precise timing sequence that industry insiders and security experts suggest points directly to a critical operational window. Analysts believe that 3:15 in the afternoon marks the exact moment when the primary proceedings are scheduled to commence, requiring the maximum possible concentration of law enforcement to secure the perimeters, manage traffic flow, and screen the wave of high-profile arrivals. A total of 139 dedicated officers have been formally stripped of their standard neighborhood patrols and assigned exclusively to oversee this monster bash. A security contingent that includes 5 high-ranking lieutenants and 14 experienced sergeants tasked with maintaining absolute order amidst the sweltering heat and intense public scrutiny. To protect these officers from the dangerous conditions of a relentless 100-degree summer heatwave, baking the concrete canyon of Manhattan over this holiday weekend, special cooling stations equipped with industrial air conditioning systems have been hastily erected around the exterior of the arena, providing a necessary, temporary respite for the personnel working the grueling shifts. The extraordinary security presence extends far beyond the local police department, as the atmosphere around the legendary venue has taken on an increasingly militarized tone that underscores the extreme wealth and global influence of the individuals at the center of the event. On Wednesday afternoon, onlookers and media personnel were stunned to witness approximately 15 armed members of the National Guard taking up strategic positions directly outside a designated VIP entrance, working in close synchronization with members of an elite, deeply secretive private security team that has protected the principal figures for years. This multi-layered defense network is designed to create an impenetrable barrier around the venue, ensuring that the estimated 1,100 guests who have officially returned their invitations can celebrate in total privacy, completely isolated from the chaotic energy of the surrounding city. These guests, representing the absolute upper echelons of global entertainment, sports, and business, have been subjected to an unprecedented level of administrative secrecy long before ever setting foot in New York City. Industry sources have confirmed that every single individual on the exclusive guest list was strictly required to execute a legally binding non-disclosure agreement before a single detail regarding the specific location, timing, or nature of the celebrations was disclosed to them. To further eliminate the possibility of media leaks, the invitations themselves were engineered with a sophisticated security measure featuring a distinct, individualized digital watermark that repeatedly embeds the first and last name of each specific guest across the intricate graphic design, making any intercepted or photographed invitation immediately traceable to its source and ensuring total accountability among the inner circle, while the administrative side of the event is defined by rigid legal boundaries. The physical transformation of the arena's interior is a testament to pure theatrical ambition and unlimited financial resources, fueled by a multi-billion-dollar fortune that allows for the realization of the most extravagant creative visions. Throughout recent days, heavy commercial trucks have been arriving at the loading docks at all hours of the night, discharging an endless stream of specialized materials, technical equipment, and bizarre cargo that has kept onlookers captivated. On Tuesday, a group of specialized carpenters and stagehands wearing matching vintage apparel from a historic 2011 concert tour were observed operating heavy machinery and maneuvering large wooden structures, sparking an absolute frenzy of speculation across social media platforms regarding the aesthetic direction of the production. This frantic activity reached a peak on Wednesday when workers were seen wheeling massive, insulated crates stenciled with origins pointing directly to the cold coastal waters of Maine into the catering entrances, confirming that the culinary offerings for the massive crowd will feature a lavish abundance of fresh lobster. In a surreal juxtaposition of high luxury and everyday Americana, a commercial delivery vehicle from a famous national donut chain was also spotted idling within the high-security perimeter, a detail that amused observers even as massive trucks continued to unload mature decorative trees, dense ornamental shrubbery, and thick bundles of natural wooden branches into the concrete backstage areas. Rumors originating from the internal production crew suggest that these natural elements are being used to construct a fully realized, life-sized medieval fortress inside the main arena. A massive scenic build intended to meticulously recreate the nostalgic, romantic atmosphere of a beloved 28 fairytale music video, complete with all the grand architecture of a legendary royal court. This uncompromising insistence on absolute perfection and total environmental control, which critics and insiders have occasionally characterized as a manifestation of extreme control freakery, has naturally raised eyebrows across the entertainment industry given the challenges of dominating an iconic public venue that comfortably seats 22,000 people during one of the most congested holiday weekends of the entire year. The intense pressure weighing down on the organizing staff was laid bare in moments of pure administrative panic captured on high-definition video, which showed a team of workers carefully rolling out an opulent, plush red carpet along the exterior sidewalk on Tuesday morning, only for a visibly flustered, high-ranking event aide to sprint across the pavement moments later, frantically ordering the entire installation to be immediately ripped up and removed from public view. This level of heightened tension and logistical friction has inevitably spilled over onto the historic streets of Manhattan, drawing a deeply divided reaction from the public, who must find a way to coexist with this massive pop cultural disruption. For dedicated enthusiasts who have traveled long distances to stand outside the barriers in the stifling heat, the opportunity to soak up the historic atmosphere and witness the frantic preparations firsthand is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, with many expressing an enduring hope that some element of the grand-scale production will ultimately find a way to include the public. Conversely, the reaction from everyday New York commuters and local business operators has been characterized by a profound sense of frustration and exhaustion as they look ahead to the impending street closures and security checkpoints that threaten to completely paralyze the Midtown transportation network. Many travelers attempting to navigate the subterranean connections of Penn Station have expressed horror at the prospect of dealing with a massive celebrity wedding on top of an already chaotic holiday rush, describing the entire situation as an unmitigated disaster that ignores the practical realities of a city already straining under the weight of an immense international sports influx and an unforgiving summer climate. The long and winding journey that has brought these two monumental figures to the historic arches of Madison Square Garden represents the convergence of two entirely distinct American dynasties, each occupying the absolute apex of their respective industries. To fully comprehend why this specific gathering has captured the collective imagination of the entire planet, one must examine the extraordinary paths traveled by both individuals, whose lives have been defined by a relentless pursuit of excellence and a rare ability to dominate the cultural conversation. The brilliant songstress at the center of this global media storm has spent more than 2 decades meticulously building an unprecedented entertainment empire, evolving from a determined teenage country singer into a multi-billion-dollar force of nature capable of shifting local economies with a single concert tour. Her artistic evolution has been mirrored by an equally spectacular professional trajectory for her partner, a legendary professional athlete who has redefined his position on the gridiron through a combination of unmatched physical prowess, charismatic leadership, and a championship pedigree that has secured his status as a first-ballot Hall of Famer. When these two massive trajectories collided, it created a cultural phenomenon that transcended the boundaries of sports and music, transforming a private romance into a shared global narrative that has culminated in this jaw-dropping Midtown's spectacle. This extraordinary union is not merely a celebration of personal commitment, but a historical milestone in the evolution of modern celebrity culture, proving that even in an era of fragmented media, certain figures possess the sheer magnetic power to unite the entire world in a moment of shared fascination. As the final hours tick down toward the commencement of the official ceremonies, the intense focus of the fashion world has turned squarely toward the closely guarded secret of what the iconic bride will wear as she walks down the aisle of the transformed arena. While the specific details of the bridal wardrobe are being protected with a level of security normally reserved for state secrets, high-level industry insiders have dropped tantalizing hints suggesting that the pop superstar has commissioned at least 5 completely distinct custom gowns to wear over the course of the multi-day celebrations. Speculation has reached a fever pitch surrounding the involvement of acclaimed designers Laura Kim and Fernando Garcia, the visionary duo behind the celebrated New York-based brand Mons, who recently made headlines with their high-profile departure from their roles as co-creative directors at the legendary fashion house of Oscar de la Renta. Additional whispers from the inner sanctum of the design world suggest that the primary wedding gown may draw deep artistic inspiration from the classic, timeless silhouette worn by Hollywood royalty Elizabeth Taylor during her historic 1950 wedding to Conrad Hilton, a deliberate aesthetic choice that beautifully connects with a poignant song titled Elizabeth Taylor, featured on the artist's most recent, critically acclaimed studio album, The Life of a Showgirl. This seamless blending of personal history, musical mythology, and high-fashion artistry ensures that every visual element of the celebration will serve as a layered, meaningful narrative for the attendees and the millions of fans observing from a distance. The true significance of this weekend's events extends far beyond the immediate glamour of the star-studded guest list, representing a major logistical triumph and an unprecedented test of endurance for the city of New York itself. A comprehensive permit filed with municipal authorities has authorized the complete closure of major thoroughfares surrounding the massive entertainment complex from Thursday afternoon through the midday hours of Saturday, creating a highly regulated security zone that will fundamentally alter the traffic patterns of Midtown Manhattan. For the local business owners operating within this heavily congested zone, the strict security restrictions have sparked genuine concerns regarding a potential loss of short-term revenue. Yet the sheer influx of international visitors and high-spending media personnel is expected to provide a substantial, long-term economic boost to the broader metropolitan area. The intense atmospheric conditions, marked by a brutal heat wave and the chaotic overlapping presence of massive international sports crowds visiting the city for the ongoing World Cup matches, have only added to the dramatic narrative surrounding the event, transforming the entire production into a test of pure resilience for the organizing teams, the municipal workers, and the dedicated fans who remain stationed on the sidewalks. This complex interplay between public disruption and historic celebration encapsulates the unique magic of the metropolis, a place where a private milestone can expand to occupy the grandest possible stage, forcing an entire city to pause, adapt, and bear witness to a moment of pure cultural history as the sun begins to set over the shimmering skyline of Manhattan, casting long shadows across the heavily fortified perimeter of the garden. The final preparations are locking into place for an evening that will be remembered for decades to come. The massive, life-sized medieval fortress erected inside the arena stands ready to welcome the 1,100 distinguished guests, its grand faux stone walls and lush, imported woodlands creating an oasis of pure romantic fantasy completely detached from the sweltering, noisy streets outside. The dedicated contingent of law enforcement officers, having rotated through their specialized cooling stations to combat the triple-digit temperatures, have established a flawless perimeter, ensuring that the historic civil ceremony can proceed with absolute dignity and complete privacy. From the initial calculated leaks provided by observant police personnel to the frantic rolling and unrolling of the opulent red carpet, every single detail of this extraordinary operation has highlighted the sheer scale of the influence wielded by this iconic couple, individuals who have managed to command the complete attention of the world's media capital. When the music finally swells beneath the iconic circular roof of the arena and the historic vows are officially exchanged, it will mark the definitive closing of one chapter